$700 billion. That's how much the federal government spends on small business contracts every single year. 700 billion. And there was one program, one specifically designed to make sure Black business owners got a seat at that table. Today, they came for it. What it was, the 8A Business Development Program, it was born out of the civil rights era, explicitly created following the civic unrest of the late 1960s to support businesses owned by Black Americans who had been systematically locked out of federal contracting for decades. Not a handout, a 9-year program. You get in, you compete for set aside federal contracts, you build your business, you graduate. The goal was simple: create Black businesses strong enough to compete without the program by year 9. And it worked. 6,000 small businesses went through the SBA's connected training programs. On average, they reported 45% growth in annual revenue, 45% from business that couldn't get in the door before. A Black veteran named Monica in Arkansas, he was a service disabled veteran, Black business owner. He used the SBA programs to pivot his entire company during the pandemic and land GSA scheduled contracts. His words, I think now more than any other time in history, the SBA is needed. And that was a real business, a real veteran, real generational wealth being built exactly the way the program was designed. Now, let me show you what happened to that program under this administration. I'm going to put the numbers on the screen and I need you to really look at this. Okay. Let me see. Let me move over. Okay. All right. Under Biden, 2,200 businesses admitted over 44 years, not 44, over 4 years. Under Trump, 65 total, all of last year. In a country with 3.1 million Black owned businesses, 65 got in 1 year. Now look at the timeline below those numbers. This is how they did it month by month. December 25, SBA orders all 4,300 existing 8A firms to produce 3 years of financial documents. In January 2026, 1,000 firms were suspended for not complying. February 26, 150 Washington, D.C. based firms terminated. March 26, 620 more firms terminated. And then today, June 11th, the proposed rule drops the race-based presumption. It was eliminated. The Alaska Native Corporation, they were still exempt, still protected. And that group tells the whole story. Screenshot it, share it, because the numbers don't lie. So, what does this rule actually say? Now, let me break down what race neutral actually means, okay, in the application, because the language sounds fair until you read it carefully. The new standard says any applicant must prove they were personally discriminated against by a government or private entity during their lifetime through an action, policy, rule, or regulation that was biased against a racial or ethnic group they belong to. Sounds reasonable, right? Until you ask one question: who in America has more documented proof of systemic discrimination? A Black business owner or a white one? Let me answer that with the federal record, not my opinion. Their own documents. Redlining, that was the systematic denial of mortgages and loans to Black Americans based on race. It was written into the federal housing policy and enforced by the federal government for decades. It was documented, it was settled. The GI Bill, it was passed in 1944 to help veterans build wealth through home loans and education. It was administered in a way that systematically excluded Black veterans. Documented, congressional record. The USDA, they discriminated against Black farmers in loan programs for so long that the federal government paid out a $2.3 billion settlement. That's documented. It's federal court. And the SBA itself has historically denied loans to Black businesses as at documented higher rates than white applicants. That's in the research. So when they say prove you weren't discriminated against, the proof is in the federal record. Our proof is written in their own documents. And now they're asking us to individually document what they already know happened collectively. It's crazy, man. Now, here's the part that should make every single person watching this video stop and rewind. Because this proposed rule applies to individually owned firms only. You know who it does not apply to? Alaska Native corporations, tribes, Native Hawaiian organizations. Those are entity owned firms. $1 billion defense contractors in some cases still fully protected, still get their presumptive access to federal contracts. No new proof required, no new standard, nothing changes for them. So the race neutral rule isn't neutral for everyone, just for us. And it's the history. And I need you to understand why this hits differently for Black Americans specifically, because this isn't about checking a box on the form. Every other group that benefits from programs like this came to America voluntarily. They built communities. They faced discrimination, and that discrimination is real and documented. But Black Americans didn't come here voluntarily. We were brought here in chains. We built this country's economy for free for over 200 years. We were legally defined as property. In every single wealth building opportunity this country created after emancipation, land grants, GI benefits, federal contracts, home loans was systematically denied to us while being handed to everyone else. That is not a feeling. That is the documented historical record of the United States government. And the 8A program was the closest thing to an acknowledgement of that record that federal contracting ever produced. So today they propose taking it all away. Uh, So I know the question is, what do we do now? But here's what I need you to walk away with, because I don't outrage without action on this channel. First, if you're a Black business owner who used the 8A program, who built something real through it, who created jobs and generational wealth, your story is the most powerful comment you can submit. Okay. Tell them exactly what that program meant, specifically with numbers. Second, this is a proposed rule, it is not final. Comments are open until July 13th of 26. That's 32 days. Okay, there's a docket. Let's look at the docket, guys. Oh, I might need to put it up. There is a docket right here. All right, this is the document right here. All right, you can go here. I got the link down below in the description, and the comment portal is open until July 13th of 26. The link is down below in the description. It's regulations.gov docket SBA 2026-0133. That's short. All right. Is breaking down today's rule, which is already on my channel. Go watch it. We don't forget. Peace.